Alright, here we have a geometric sequence. We want to find the common ratio and also the first four terms. Let's actually start by writing out the first four terms. We're starting with n equals 1. It's not always the case. So if we have 1, just plug in n equals 1. We're going to have 2 times negative 1/4, which is negative 1/2. Alright, for n equals 2, we'll have 2 times negative 1/4 squared. So we're going to have 2 over 16, which is 1/8. Alright, let's do the same thing for 3 and 4. So there's our first four terms. Now the common ratio is the number that if you took 1/8 and divided it by negative 1/2, or negative 1 over 32 divided by 1/8, or 1 over 128 divided by negative 1 over 32. That's kind of tedious to find that. There is a shortcut. It's just whatever is being taken to a power. We have a negative 1/4. That's going to be our common ratio. And you can test it by taking negative 1/2 times negative 1/4, you get 1/8. 1/8 times negative 1/4, you get negative 132. It's working. So let's do the same thing with this geometric sequence. We can't see the common ratio right off the bat because we don't have a number just to the n. But we have a little trick we can use to rewrite it. This is the same as 2 cubed to the nth power. And 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So we have 8 to the n. So our common ratio is 8. Let's write out the first four terms. When n equals 1, we just have 8. Now let's take 8 squared, 8 cubed, you get 512, and then 8 to the 4th is 4096. Let's do the same thing for this one. We can rewrite this one too. We want something to the n, but we have that extra 1 in there. However, we can break that up. This is the same as 2 to the n times 2 to the first power. So we can write this as 5/2 to the n and times 1/2 out front. So that tells us our common ratio is 5/2. Now let's do the first four terms. If n equals 1, we get 5/4. n equals 2. Rather than plugging in 2, we're going to use our common ratio. We just take the previous one and multiply it by 5/2. So we'll have 25/8. Multiply that by 5/2, 125 over 16. Multiply that by 5/2, we get 625 over 32.